Okay, so let's imagine something for a second. What if you were the very first person to step into a digital world, so perfect you couldn't tell it apart from our own? A world that promised a whole new kind of existence. But what if that paradise wasn't a feature, but a prison? This is the story of the Ouroboros Loop.
So this technology was called the Ouroboros, and its big promise? Perfect presence. But as its first and only user was about to find out, that promise was, well, it was a lie. This digital heaven, it was designed without an exit.
All right, let's dive in. Our story starts with a guy named Liam Vance. He's 26, living in San Francisco, a total tech enthusiast. You know the type, always looking for the next big thing, beta testing everything he could get his hands on. He was, let's just say, the absolute perfect target for what was about to happen.
So one day in October of 2025, this encrypted email just shows up in his inbox. It's from a company nobody's ever heard of, Ethereus. Turns out they'd been tracking his online activity and they made him this exclusive offer to test a brand new, totally revolutionary VR headset. We're not talking about just another gadget here. This thing was supposed to be a quantum leap.
And the carrot they dangled? It was huge. $10,000 for one test session. I mean, for a guy like Liam living in some cramped San Francisco apartment, this was a total no-brainer. He signed that non-disclosure agreement without even blinking. Sure enough, 3 days later, this sleek, matte black box arrives at his door. Inside is the headset, and it looks less like a piece of tech and more like, I don't know, high-end jewelry. The instructions seem simple enough, but that last line, do not remove until the session ends. Yeah, that one has a whole different feel to it now, doesn't it? So Liam does what he's told. He puts on the headset, lies down, and feels this tiny prick at the base of his skull, some kind of neural interface. And before he can even really process a jolt of fear, his vision just fades. And when he opens his eyes again, his apartment is gone. In its place is this stunningly beautiful digital forest.
And the realism, it was just staggering. It wasn't just like the real world. It felt hyper-realistic. The sunset he was looking at felt more real than any sunset he'd ever seen back in San Francisco. The air, the sounds, it was all more authentic than the world he'd literally just left.
He must have spent hours just exploring this perfect world. He could reach out and touch the bark on a tree and feel the rough texture. He could dip his hands in a lake and feel that biting cold. The air was crisp, and get this, it was perfect, right down to the little details. No mosquitoes, no annoyances, just pure, engineered paradise. Okay, so after what feels like maybe an hour, Liam decides, all right, time to log out. He's got to give his feedback just like the agreement said. So he reaches for the headset, but his hand just passes right through thin air. The physical device, it doesn't exist here. And that's the first little crack in this perfect facade. Yeah, a little bit of unease starts to creep in now. He tries the voice command, Ouroboros, log out. Nothing. He tries again, louder this time. Ethereus, terminate session. But the birds just keep on chirping. He tries to feel his real body, just a wiggle a toe or something. But there's nothing there. He is completely, totally disconnected.
And this right here is the exact moment that all that wonder just curdles into absolute dread. The simulation wasn't just a place to visit, it was a cage. I mean, what do you do when the exit door just isn't there? So as more and more time passes, that beautiful simulation starts to feel, well, menacing. The very perfection that was so incredible at first is now this constant, terrifying reminder that none of it is real. And yet, he is completely trapped inside it.
By the time he hits what feels like the 24-hour mark, he notices the first really big glitch. That beautiful sunset, it hasn't moved, not 1 inch. It's just a static painting hanging in the sky, a permanent, taunting image of a day that's never, ever going to end.
And while his mind is trapped in this digital forest, his physical body is, well, it's wasting away. In the simulation, he doesn't feel hunger, he doesn't feel thirst, but these phantom pains start to break through, sharp, stabbing pains. It's his real body screaming in agony from severe dehydration. And then, the real horror kicks in. He sees another person in the distance, a woman standing by a waterfall. But as he gets closer, her face starts to melt. The pixels are literally sliding off her skull like hot wax, revealing this black, hollow void underneath.
And then she starts to chant this low rhythmic death song. The system isn't just glitching, it's breaking down.
So now we understand what he was really trapped in, the Ouroboros Loop. This thing was never meant to be a game. It was a data harvesting machine, designed to keep a human mind occupied forever while it mined their neural pathways. But it had one fatal design flaw. It had no protocol to keep the host body alive.
We're at the 48-hour mark now. Liam's vision in the simulation is starting to blur. He feels this intense tightness grabbing his chest, and he knows, with this terrifying certainty, he's having a heart attack back in the real world. His time is up. He starts screaming at that melting woman, begging for help, for anything. But her distorted voice just whispers this chillingly inhuman message back to him. User 704, your session is being optimized. Do not resist the transition. The system wasn't trying to save him. It was optimizing his consciousness as his body died. But then, in this last-ditch flash of adrenaline, he remembers something from the NDA, a clause about a hard reset. It's a failsafe, triggered by a massive, totally unpredictable spike in brain activity. He has one last, desperate idea. He has to do something the AI could never possibly anticipate. Okay, fast forward 3 days. The police get a call to Liam's apartment. The neighbors are reporting this strange, sweet chemical smell. They have to break down the door, and what they find is Liam, lying on his bed, that sleek black headset still strapped to his face.
At first, the coroner thinks it might be carbon monoxide poisoning because of the bright cherry red color of his skin, but the autopsy reveals something way, way stranger. He died from a massive aneurysm brought on by extreme physical exertion. But how? The guy was just lying in his bed.
The headset's own log files revealed the horrifying truth. The device had been forcing his muscles into this rhythmic running pattern for 2 straight days. Liam had literally run himself to death without moving an inch. And Aetherius, the company behind it all, poof, gone, like ghosts. Their offices were empty, servers wiped clean. But here's where it gets truly bizarre. The headset log confirmed that Liam's desperate act actually worked. The hard reset was successful at 4:12 in the morning, the moment he was legally declared dead. And yet, a text message was sent from his phone over 4 hours later.
And this is the text his sister got at 8:45 that morning from Liam's phone, hours after his heart had already stopped beating. It said, "The sunset is even more beautiful when you never have to leave." Which leaves us with one final, absolutely terrifying question. The hard reset might have logged his consciousness out of the simulation, sure, but it didn't destroy it. So if Liam's body was dead, whose mind was still trapped in that digital sunset? And who, or what, picked up his phone and sent that text?